All right. I think we are officially live here on this Monday morning. And well, I don't know about you, but I am fired up for the upcoming week. Why? Just because I am. I'm like excited to be like alive and be able to do all of the amazing things that we get to do. So a lot of times people are like, well, what do you have that you're looking forward to? It's like, I'm looking forward to the week to come because there's a lot of cool things that we are able to do because we live in an amazing world. Yes, right now we're in a pandemic, and yes, we have some crazy stuff happening on in the world. And if we focus on that, that will drive us crazy. So what we need to do is focus on what we can control. And well, it's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about here today. And today I did want to really, well, because it is a Monday, I think these coffee talks are very, very important on Mondays because it sets us up for the week, right? And so what I'd like to do is take this time to kind of huddle. We'll get in a little huddle. And then we can say, all right, guys, now let's get on out there and let's make it happen, right? And I think that's important. You need to surround yourself with those types of people. And if you're not feeling that, if you're feeling like, you know, you're around people that are dragging you down, well, we got to fix that, right? And so that's not what I'm going to be talking about today, by the way. But I am going to be talking really about how to really understand like your weaknesses and expose that in a way that now we can see it, acknowledge it, and then fix it within 24 hours. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on here today, this morning. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, just want to say thank you for stopping by as well. If you're here live, a special thank you to you because you guys are awesome. Love having coffee with you guys in the morning. But I did want to, again, just remind you that if you want to hang out in the mornings like this right here, and you wanted to hang out with some cool people, talk about business, marketing, life, all of that good stuff, head on over to takeactioncrew.com, and that'll take you to the Facebook page where you can just basically be notified when we go live. All right. Nothing to buy there. Just basically information for you to get connected and be surrounded with some cool people. All right. So let's see. Who do we have here today? Let's go ahead and just do a little bit or some roll call here real quick, and we'll see who's showing up in the Monday coffee talks or the coffee talks. We got Jennifer in the house. What's up, Jennifer? Good to see you as always. I got to fix my screen here. Awesome. Always good to see you. All right. And who else? Octavio, what's up, man? Brand Rockers, what's up, man? How are you doing? Glad to see you. Of course, always good to see Octavio, who's crushing it, by the way, one of our BCA students. Derek, what's up? Atlanta in the house. Good to see you back, Derek. Good to see you back. It's been a little while. I know that you've been in and out, probably hustling over there. Kay, good morning to you as well. What's up? How are you? Good morning, Brand Rockers. Always good to see you. Karen, what's up? Good morning to you. Debbie's in the house. What's up, Debbie? Good morning to you as well. Karen, of course, Karen's in the house. What's up, Karen? It rained there this morning. Yeah, it's beautiful out here this morning. Jana, what's up? How are you? Good morning to you as well. So yeah, so guys, thank you guys so much for stopping by. And I know there's more than that I just announced here on the feed because I can see it. But if you're on here and you want to say hello, drop your name or just drop a hello in the comments. Would love to see that you're here. Acknowledge, roll call. Who's here? So yeah, that's we got Helene popping in. Yeah. Good morning to you as well, Helene. All right. So let's get down to it. Or let's like Cool in the Gang says, get down on it. All right. So anyway, so we're going to be talking about this because I think this is really, really important. And you know, we've been talking lately about email marketing. We've been talking about list building. We've been talking about just building your brand, right? Like offering products to your brand, like how to build out content in your brand, like all of that stuff. And it seems like it could be really overwhelming, right? And it is overwhelming. There's a lot of things that we can do, but people get stuck, right? And they wonder why they're not getting the results that they want to get. And so what I want to do today is I want to more or less have you, not me, you really discover, self-discover your weakness right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to think to yourself right now, and I want you guys to do this for me too. You that are here live, or even if you're here in the replay, do it later. Just drop it in the comments. Okay. And the one thing is, when you do put things in the comments, guess what happens, guys? You actually show up, and now you're like, I'm here. You're not hiding anymore, right? You're like, I'm here. You're raising your hand in the class, and you're like, yeah, I feel that, or yeah, I'm doing that. So here's what I want you to do. In the comments, I want you right now, what is it that you feel is holding you back? Like, what is holding you back to getting to the place that you're trying to get to, right? Because if we look at the whole business thing, wow, it's a lot, right? There's a lot you can do out there, right? So what are you stuck on right now? Like, what is the thing that's holding you back right now? Because that is a weakness, by the way, right? Whatever it is that's holding you back, it's a weakness, because if you can't overcome that or identify what it is you should be working on, you are going to stay stuck, right? You might get a little bit out of it, then boom, you get pulled back again. Yeah, a little bit out of it, boom, you're back again, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to put in the comments, what is it that you feel that is holding you back? Or what is something that you're just like spinning your wheels? You're spinning your wheels. And I see it here on these coffee talks. I see it whenever I do any type of engagement with people. I can see it, that it comes back to the same thing, right? As far as like, Scott, what's the best product I should sell? Okay. And then that same person might come back and go, what's the best way to do an email list? Right. And then they might come back and go, Scott, what's the best formula for creating content? Right. So all of these questions, but it's all over the place. Right. So a lot of times it's scattered, right? Being scattered is a problem. So we have to fix that. So we have to identify, where are you right now? Where are you trying to go? And why are you still where you are? Why haven't you advanced? Right. And I think we should be advancing every single day, every single week, every single month. And I don't mean like giant leaps. I'm saying like a little leap, right? Like a little bit of movement, right? And that could be, I said I was going to write an email every single week, and now I am, right? So that's movement, right? But if you're still on the sidelines saying, I just don't know if the email is going to sound good. Or you know what? I don't know what to write my email list. So you know what? I just won't write this week, right? Those are all things that can be overcome, but it's also a weakness that you may have. So we need to identify that. Then once we identify it, we can fix it. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and see what we got here. We've got Debbie coming in saying time management. Okay. So time management a lot of times comes down to, again, being scattered in a sense. And Debbie, I know you and I had a good hot seat session, and you had said to me, Scott, man, it sounds like it's a lot. And I'm like, it is if you try to do it all. But if you recall, and I'll just kind of catch everyone up with what I had advised Debbie, I was like, okay, we have a website. We already built that. It's already built, right? So now you have a choice. You can either add Pinterest to your website, because that's another component that we want to build upon, right? In your market, right? Or we can pause that, don't do that yet, and we can start building the email list. Pick one, and then everything else goes away. And now what we do is that time management piece, instead of doing hours upon hours upon hours of research for keywords that you think you're going to rank better than this one, versus just picking one and doing it, right? So time management, a lot of times, it isn't the time management, it's prioritizing what you do in the allotted time. So what I would say is sit down with yourself for 30 minutes and write out, what is that thing you're going to be focusing on for the next 7 to 12 days, right? I don't know why I picked 12 days. It should have been 7 to 14. You get what I'm saying, right? So just figure it out. Like, what is it going to be, right? Like right now, personally, okay, I've got a lot of things on my mind that I could be doing, like a lot of things, a lot of shifts, a lot of things that I want to do differently. I'm building out a full email marketing accelerator training, which we're just about wrapped up with. We're just cleaning up the rough edges in a sense. That's good. But we also have Brand Accelerator Live the virtual event that I have to plan for, which we've already started planning and we've started prepping. But what is that going to look like? I've got to focus on that. So, okay, I've got that going on. Then I also got the email marketing accelerator inside of our academy that we're just wrapping up with. But now we also want to create some type of offer for people outside of the academy that could get the email marketing stuff, right? And then maybe lead them into Brand Creators Academy, right? So I've got all these pieces, but I'm not focusing on all the pieces. I finished up the email marketing accelerator pretty much, right? I dialed in. And everyone that's on here that's in the academy, you guys know, right? We were hardcore. Like there's over 40 plus videos and Chris and I shot them all. We had to shoot them. We had to edit them. We had to plan them. We had to, structure them. All of that stuff takes a lot of bandwidth, but that's all that I did in that allotted time. I still had to record podcasts, right? That's part of my ritual, right? It's part of my routine, but I had to say, okay, on the time that I'm going to be building assets, what's that going to look like right now? Everything else is going to just have to wait, right? So now that that's done, my next thing is, okay, I've got two things. Number one, I got Brand Accelerator Live, which is going to be on September 12th, which you guys will hear more about that. So we had to take that from a live in-person event and now make it a virtual. So we're going to do a one-day event. So we're planning that. It's not even really going to be, it is an event, but it's going to be more workshop type related. And so that's there, right? And then I got to promote that, right? And I've got this email marketing accelerator program that I want to let people know about that aren't in the academy because they just either haven't been able to join yet, or maybe they just want to learn about email marketing. They don't want to join the academy, whatever. So I gotta fit that in, right? So you see what I'm saying? Like I've got all these other things that I could be doing, but what am I focusing on? And that's what you need to ask yourself. So a lot of times it's about prioritizing what you need to do right now and where you're going, right? And some things have time-sensitive deadlines, right? Like Brand Accelerator Live, September 12th, right? It's an all-day thing. We're going to start at like 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to go to probably 6, 7 o'clock at night, and we might even do it like a cocktail party at night, right? So that's a long day. We got to plan all that. We got to structure out the content. We got to talk about what we're going to teach, right? All of those things has to be done, okay? So again, don't get overwhelmed. You have to prioritize. Derek says procrastination and follow up timely. So follow up timely, I don't know what that exactly means. Procrastination means that you just keep putting it off, right? Like you're like, okay, I want to do this thing. And then you're like, let me just check Facebook. And then you go down that rabbit hole. Or, oh, let me go to YouTube real quick. And then you go down that rabbit hole. Let me just learn about this one thing and then I'll be ready, right? Anybody ever do that? And has anybody been like, okay, I know what I've got to do. I got to, like in our training, email marketing accelerator, first thing, we got to build the lead magnet. Right? So you're like, okay, I got to build my lead magnet. Scott showed me how to do it. And then you're like, I'm going to do it. And then you're like, but before I do, let me just watch this other thing just to make sure that I understand it fully. Right? That's a way of procrastinating versus just saying, all right, I know enough to get it done. It might not be perfect, but I know enough to get it done. Right? And that's what we need to do. Doesn't have to be perfect. It takes me forever to write a blog post. Well, it becomes easier, right? It takes me a long time to write an email, okay? To be honest with you, it takes a long time for me to write an email, a lot longer than most people, but I do it and I've gotten better at it, right? So you almost have to force yourself to do it in order to get good at it. If you're in a place where you can hire that out and spend $25, $30 to have someone write it, that might be better use of your time. Maybe you're just going to do maybe you're going to do the list building now because you've got that piece taken care of, right? But if you are writing your own blog post, understand it's a process. You're learning that process as you're doing it, and you will get better. You will get better the more you do it. It's like anything. If I sat there and only played my guitar, which I haven't played in a while, once a month, I'm probably not going to be as good as if I played once a week or once every other day, right? It's the same principles. Derek, time management is a big weakness. Okay, so how do we fix that? Okay, so now that we've identified it, right? And anyone else here, maybe yours isn't time management, but although I've heard it twice already, right? In procrastination. So if that is an issue, right? If time management, if it's managing your time, we only get 24 hours in a day. We only get 24 hours. We don't get 25, we get 24, right? How do we get more out of the 24 without killing ourselves, right? Because that's the big question, right? We do not want to do more just to be stressed out later, right? How do we do that? We prioritize. But we first have to do some inventory of what we need to get done, what we want to get done. And then we channel all of our time allotments to that, right? So it sounds like a lot of times for people, you're just scattered, right? I want to build my website. And then you start that and then you're like, okay, I'm going to start doing the content, even though I'm not ready yet. And then I'm going to start the content, but my blog isn't ready yet. So I got to go back and do that instead of just build a blog, get it ready, right? Create the content, post the content, build the email list, start sending emails to those people about your blog content, start a Pinterest account, start creating pins that drive people back to your website. Right? So all of that stuff can kind of go together, but it has to go in order. And when you have it go in order, it becomes easier because now you're not distracted. You also have to have self-discipline to get your eyes out of your inbox all the time, looking at all of the gurus that you signed up for, right? Who here, okay, guys, who here wants to simplify this whole building a business online? Who wants to simplify that? I need a raise of hand. I need to see a raise of hands here. Okay, guys, let me know. Does that sound good to you? It sounds good to me. And honestly, that's what I'm all about. I literally just got off the phone with a friend of mine. We were voxering back and forth. And this is one thing that it drives me crazy. And I never want to get to that point. And that's just me. And that is, I don't want to build a business just to have a job. Right? Like I do not want to build a business so I have a job. So I want to enjoy the process. I never want to get so big that I feel like I have to provide for all of these mouths, right? So I have all these employees. I don't want that. I was in that world, in the brick and mortar world with my father's company. I never want to go back to that world. Okay. But also what happens is then all of a sudden we start listening to this one. Oh, well, you got to build this funnel over here. It's a very complex funnel. Oh, wait a minute, over here, instead of doing your emails, you got to do all these crazy automations and segmentations, right? And oh, if you want to build a digital product, it's got to be a digital course and you should build it first and then sell it, right? That's wrong, by the way. So you have to do all of these things, right? You got to build an email list, but if you're going to build an email list, you have to use a very elaborate lead magnet, right? And then if you use that lead magnet, you got to deliver it. You got to make it look as pretty as, everyone else, right? Like all of these things that you're being fed with that you think you have to do, really, it's about simplifying it. At least it is to me, right? Like it's very, very simple if you keep it simple, right? But if you start listening to this one and that one and this one, and if you get into Facebook ads, forget it. Your mind's going to be blown. You're going to be like, oh my gosh. That's a whole nother animal. It is if you allow it to be, right? Chris actually teaches inside of our academy, inside of the Email Marketing Accelerator, a very simple approach to doing it where you're not overwhelmed. And once you get that, you can scale it. We can work on scaling it. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it is if you let it be complicated or if you start getting all of the outside people telling you that it needs to be this certain way. All right. So it doesn't have to be. Let's see here. Anthony, what's up, Anthony? Getting distracted, staying focused on the priorities. Yes. Discipline. It's all about discipline. Guys, do you guys want to have an amazing week coming up here right now? I'll tell you right now, if you do that for yourself right now and you go, you know what? I'm going to listen to Scott just this 1 week, and I'm going to pick one thing to focus on. And I'm going to devote all of my time that I allot for my business, right? Maybe it's an hour a day. Maybe it's 4 hours a day, right? And I'm just going to focus on that. And I'll tell you what, you'll feel really good at the end of the week because you'll get a lot of stuff done and you'll be like, wow, I made progress. Yeah, do it again, right? It's all about continuing to do it again and also double down on what's working and do less of what's not, right? You got to ask yourself, is this thing I'm doing right here required for me to do the next thing, right? Or okay, I'll give you an example. If you're looking to build a little digital product that you can sell for $19 or something, right? Do you have to build out this massive course or this massive book? No, you don't. You don't have to. You can honestly just probably bullet point something out, record yourself for 90 minutes, and then just have it transcribed, edit it, and you're done. And you can do that in a weekend. But you'll also hear other people say you have to have this complex course, you have to have this complex system or formula. You don't have to. So again, it's what we allow ourselves to think that we have to do. But if you worked on that, we could have that thing done by the end of the weekend, right? And it goes for anything. If you want to write a blog post and you have never written one, we could lay it out. We could do our keyword research, and then we can do the blog post and we can post it by the end of the weekend. If we said, okay, we're going to start this here and we're going to have it done by the weekend, we could totally do it, right? But it's because we're concentrating on that one action. Okay. Let's see here. A lot of you guys are chiming in here. I love it. Karen, what's up, Karen? Getting overwhelmed with learning all the technology. Again, one thing at a time. So Karen, if there's something that you're struggling with on technology, you only need that one piece of the technology, right? And you're in the academy, so I know a lot about your business and I know a lot about what you're trying to do. And there's things down here that you don't need to do yet. So right now I would ask, I'd say, okay, bring me through where you're at. And you'd be like, okay, well, I'm starting to build my list and I've got my first email follow-up in place. I'm like, all right, is that connected? No, it's not connected because I don't know how to connect, the ConvertKit thing to the form to my landing page. We're like, okay, well, let's fix that, right? Let's learn that part. That's it. Just that one part. Don't go down the road yet of like, how do I then automate and bring people into an autoresponder sequence? And then how do I drip out content? Like, we don't need that yet, right? That's next. It's not there yet. So I think for you, it's slowing down a little bit and only looking at what's ahead of you. Yes, you have the whole plan, but what's ahead of you? What's the next thing? And then we'll tackle that technology thing first. And I would also encourage you, Karen, is just let us know in the academy what that one thing is. And then we can either point you to that or someone in the group will help you with that. Karen, overwhelm still gets me. I'm getting better at breaking things down, but sometimes I forget. I am working on it. Becoming a habit. Yes, Karen. And we will be there along with you to help you inside the academy. And this is really good. This discussion is good. It helps me also understand where you guys are at and where you're getting hung up. But the first thing I want to really point out here is that you guys just recognizing this is huge. It's like, then like, you're not like, I don't struggle with that. I'm just not getting results because I'm just, it's just not working for me. No, it's a lot of times because you're scattered and you're not putting in enough time and effort on the things that really do matter, right? So I appreciate you sharing that, Karen. Octavio, haven't found my pace with Pinterest consistently. I see it working, but don't enjoy it as much as other aspects of brand building. So I found it harder to incorporate. And that's where you might want to have someone help you with that, Octavio. So either that, or you just say, okay, this day for 30 minutes, I'm going to do that. And that's the only day I'm going to do it. The other thing is, Octavio, is my daughter, Alexis, the one that taught this training in the Pinterest thing. She is playing around with Tailwind a little bit. So we might be able to help you out with that because we're going to probably add a bonus video inside of that training since she's been playing around with Tailwind. Anyone that doesn't know what Tailwind is, you don't really need to know what it is. It's just, it helps you automate some of your posting. And it can really reduce the amount of time that you're doing it. You can sit down and kind of do it ahead of time. I don't like relying on automation for that type of stuff. And you're not for everything. It's just certain things you can. So that will most likely be coming. But I would say, Octavio, just block out a certain amount of time. Derek, shiny object syndrome was one, but not anymore. That's right, because you've been at these coffee talks. I know it, Derek, because when you showed up these coffee talks, you were all over the place, right? You've gotten a lot better. So give yourself some credit. High five. Bang. Good job, man. It was a big problem until I stopped it. I was always looking for the next big thing without using what I had. Yeah, we all want that silver bullet. We all want the magic pill, but we all know it's not there. We all know it, right? We all know that if you want to lose weight, you got to understand diet. You gotta. And you know what it comes down to? Eating whole foods, right? And yeah, some people's makeups are different as far as like, okay, your body doesn't do well with X, right? You got to figure that stuff out. But we all know, listen, you can't have the pizza every night. and you got to exercise a little bit, right? We all know that, but we want that thing. Oh, wait a minute. There's the latest hack on how to still eat pizza and lose 5 pounds. Like, really? Like, but that's what we want. It's not real, right? We know that. So yeah. Okay, let's move on here. Spending a lot of time managing Amazon biz and working on my brand both takes a lot of time and focus. It does. And that's where, you almost need to, again, have scheduled allotted time. So I wouldn't jump in and out of both areas all the time. And if you're finding yourself that you are, catch yourself and be like, oh, wait a minute, that's Amazon focus time. That should be happening, in the morning or in the afternoon. And a lot of times when you're doing that, you can't like neglect the Amazon side or the outside channel stuff. You can't neglect it every day, but you can allot certain time to do it. It's kind of like email, answering emails. Like, you don't want to jump in your inbox all day long. If you do, you're going to find yourself putting out fires and you're going to feel burnt out at the end of the day. So you might want to pick just one time in the morning, maybe in the evening, or just one time during the day. So yeah. Hey, thank you, Derek, my man. Take that sip of coffee. Okay. Derek, again, organizing and scheduling out my day and week. And that's a big one for you guys, right? For any of us. But people don't want to sit down and take the time to actually plan out their week. Why? Why not? If you do it, you're going to feel really good. You're going to be like, wow, now I just got to show up. I just got to show up and sit down. Wait a minute here. What's my calendar say? My little schedule here? Oh, it says I should be working on finding new keywords for my next 5 articles. There's the hour, right? That's it. Okay. What's the next block say? Oh, wait a minute. There's a 15-minute take a walk in there. Okay, cool. I'm going to go take a walk, right? And then from there, boom, you come out of there. Okay, what's the next thing? Oh, okay, I got to check my email because I've got customer support that I got to make sure that I take care of. And then boom, you go in there and that's going to be a half hour. Oh, I'm going to check my Facebook page in this next block and I'm going to comment on anybody that's left comments. Boom, 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 boom. There it is, right? Done, right? So yeah, you can't bounce. We gotta sit down and figure out, okay, number one, what's all the things that you're doing right now? So maybe one exercise would be like, just write down everything that you do on a daily basis. And even write down the stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, like checking Facebook 500 times, right? Or checking Instagram or, going on YouTube, right? If you write all that stuff down, you're like, oh boy, I've been on there a long time, right? So you gotta recognize that. Helene, time, not saying I don't have enough, saying how long I think it's going to take me to complete the next task. Everything takes me about 4 times as long as I think it should. This cuts into my overall productivity. I know this will come with practice, but I thought it by now I would be much further along. And yes, the continual tech issues don't help. Yeah, I agree with you on the tech issues. Like a lot of times that stuff can like send you down a path of like 2 hours of like, if I just clicked that, or if I just knew that, and we've all been down that. And inside the Academy, Helene, that, you're basically going to have as much support there as we can give you in a relatively pretty quick time. And we had a great conversation on our call on Saturday regarding you. Man, I think you've got a ton of potential there. I was thinking about that after we got off, Helene. Like you're on it. You're on the gold. We just gotta get that stuff done. But yeah, and you know what? In the beginning, it does feel like it takes a lot of time, and it seems overwhelming, and it seems like it takes longer, and it does take longer. But I'll tell you what, once you do this and you figure out that stuff, it's going to take you less time the next time. I promise you that. I promise you. Let's see here. Okay, so now we're getting into when I asked that question. Who wants simplicity? Who wants to not have a complicated business? Who wants to basically just make it super simple? It doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to do messenger bots and all of this stuff on Facebook if you don't want to in order to be successful. You don't have to, right? You don't have to, launch 5 products on Amazon. You don't have to, right? There's other ways you can do it, and you can simplify your business. And yes, I do. Yeah, I do too. Debbie says I do. Karen says absolutely. Octavio, yes, simple is better. Derek says now writing down what I need to do. Perfect. Iva's in the house. What's up, Iva? Yes, I need to simplify, but I need to focus more and not get distracted. Yes, and you said it yourself. And maybe that's one of your weaknesses, Iva. You know what? We've all done it, right? The distraction thing. How do we put those blinders on like a racehorse, right? We were watching a movie the other night. It was a horse movie, Secretariat, I think it is. I forget. It's a horse movie, and really good, right? Horse wins races because they put blinders on it so it doesn't get distracted with what's to the right and what's to the left, right? We got to put blinders on too, right? So yeah, put those blinders on. Let's see. Absolutely, Derek says. Perfectionist. I think it has to be perfect. Big weakness of mine. Well, let's fix that. Here, I got 3 letters for you. MVP. Does anybody know what that stands for? MVP. And I'm not talking about most valuable player either. Does anybody know what that stands for? And I think there's a few of you that are in here that are in the academy will know what this means. What does MVP stand for in the marketing business online world? Let me know that, and I'll share it with you guys. I've created a day time that certain things have to be done each week because of you, Scott. Well, thank you, and good. And I'm glad. And how's that working for you, Karen? How's it working for you? Ty Linda. Technology, me too. Yeah, you know what, though, Ty Linda? You do pretty darn good with even having some tech issues. Pretty darn good, I got to say. Looking at projects in steps would be helpful. I tend to look too far in the future. Yep, that's a big one. And that's another thing we got to work on with you, Karen, because we don't need to figure out the entire blueprint. We just need to see it and then go, all right, it's like building a house. I go back to this all the time. When I'm getting ready to build a house, I got to do a perk test on the land. I got to go, hey, does anybody know what a perk test is? Basically, I got to see what kind of water, if we're going to drill a well here, what kind of water potential we have here. If I drill and I don't get water, I can't build my house there yet, right? And then if I drill and I get the perk test to be good, then I can start to, what's the next thing? Well, I got to dig for my foundation, right? I got to dig for my footing. And then from the footing goes the foundation wall. Okay. Then from there, we put on the first floor. Then from there, we put on the walls. And then from there, we put on the second floor. And then from there, we put on the walls. And then from there, we put on the roof trusses. And then from there, we put on the sheathing. And then from there, we put on, the roofing material, the shingles or whatever roof type you're putting on, right? Then we start to build the infrastructure. Then we start to go in the plumbing, the electrical, right? Then we start to insulate. Then we start to put on drywall, right? All of that stuff has steps, just like a business does. But we can't worry about how are we going to plumb this house? We haven't even built it yet. Right? That's not important at that time. Okay. Finding time to work on my business after my long day on job. And that's a big one. And that is a struggle, Derek. And I've been there numerous times, by the way. So the big thing there is if you feel like you're just spent at the end of the day, then you might need to get up early and spend an hour in the morning before you go off to the job. Right? Maybe that's what you need to do. I personally used to stay up later. So what I would do is the kids would go to bed and then I would work on whatever I wanted to work on from 9 o'clock, sometimes till 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes even later if I was working to get something done. Right? So it's hard, but if you really want it, man, you'll do it. You'll do it. Trust me. Very good advice. Thanks, Scott. No problem, Kay. Staying up late. Yeah. Oh, Karen, I got a little update. I have sold my first workbook. Lots of people are showing up, but not buying. Not sure why. Well, we'll have to investigate that, won't we? And Karen, I really wanted you to do that a little bit differently, which we'll talk about that another time. And I think we were going to do a hot seat session again with you for BCA. I really wanted you to do a promotion for it. Like you just kind of announced it to the list. I think what we needed to do there is we needed to do a promotion for it. I think we needed to let people know it's available. It's going to sell for X and you can get it for this for the next 3 days. I guarantee almost, I can't guarantee anything, but you'd have a much greater chance of getting sales on that when you run a deadline sequence on that. So yeah. Oh, Ryan got it. Minimal viable product. Yes. So did Anthony. Minimal viable product. Also, if I have a blog post shaping up to 4,000 words, should I make it 2 posts? It could work, or just post it as is. Hey, if that's we call that a pillar post. If that post needs to be 4,000 words, then make it be 4,000 words. The cool thing is now you can splinter off sections of that post, and now you can create little supporting posts that will also link over to the bigger post, right? So that's what I would advise. I'd say build that thing out, make that thing robust, make that thing really, really good. People are going to want to share it. They're going to want to, they're going to want to tell people about it, but then splinter off different topics inside of the post that could then lead also people over there, or inside of that bigger post. Now you can also link to the splintered portions of that post that might talk a little bit further on that topic, specifically on that topic. So yeah, that's what I would do. But yes, minimal viable product. And what does that basically mean? It means this, okay? It means get the thing done, okay? And I mean, I'll give you guys a perfect example. I've done this numerous times, okay? And I'm actually, I don't want to say yet, but I'm going to be doing it again here very, very soon. And this is what it looks like. And I've learned so much through the years of launching products, whether it's physical, digital, doesn't matter. It's always having minimal viable product. So I always like to just get it done and get it out there and let the market tell me, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? Right? And then from there, you do it, right? And then you just give it the rough version. Now, over the years, I've gotten better at making the rough version almost a polished version. We just actually did that inside the academy. So our idea in the academy was we're going to build this training, which we were going to build outside of the academy, right? Because we know some people, they don't want to join the academy because they don't want all that. They don't want the support. They don't need it for whatever reason. And they just want to learn how to build a list, right? So we don't want to not serve those people. And also, I believe that once they come into our world and they see that, right? They see what type of teaching we do and how we do it, then they're probably going to want to come over to the academy, right? But in the academy, we give that full training. So I basically said, you know what? We're going to build this thing anyway. Let's just build it, and we'll build it, kind of like along the way, just kind of like in real time. And then after it's done, we'll put it out there into the public. And, if we need to polish it, we'll polish it. We've already got beta users. Now, if you don't have beta users, you could technically, even if you had a work like this workbook that Karen launched, right? Even if you had a workbook, right? You could say, hey, I'm putting together this workbook. It's going to sell for $19.99. If you want it before we release it to the public, let me know, and you can get it for $9.99. Like, that's it. And you might get 15, 20 people that say, yeah, I want it before. Number one, they want to be the first early adopters because they're going to help you shape the book or the guide or the course, right? And then from there, you're going to get paid to create it. And it's also going to validate the product before you ever build it, right? I've done this numerous times, and I'm going to do it again and again and again just because it works and I don't waste time. Minimal viable product. And that could be a minimal viable product as far as a blog post. Put something up there, get it out. Something out there is better than nothing out there. I think we would all agree, right? So, all right, guys, I think we've went down this road long enough. And what I want you guys to take away from today's little coffee talk here is this. And I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, okay? So number 1, and this is really all about identifying your weakness and how to overcome it within 24 hours. Okay, that's what this coffee talk was about, right? So number 1, what have you been stuck on? Okay, what have you been stuck on? The one thing that you feel like, if I could just get that, I'd feel good, right? Like, what is one thing that you are stuck on right now? And then number 2 is why? Why are you stuck on it? Is it tech? Is it that you're trying to write and you can't get it written because you don't like the way it sounds? You don't like the way it looks. You're having a tough time editing it, whatever, right? Whatever it is, there's a reason why, right? So what have you been stuck on? And then the next question is, why are you stuck on it? Okay. And then the third thing is, how do you overcome it? How do you overcome that one obstacle, right? And there is a solution there if you just ask that question, right? So if you said to me, I'm stuck on writing my blog post. And I'm like, okay, why? Well, because I feel like I can't say everything in, 1,500 words. I think it's only going to be 800 words. And I'm like, okay, well, number one, let's figure out why that is the case, which is probably just because you're not going deep enough on the topic, right? Or if it can only be 800 words, then post it as 800 words. I don't care. Just get it done, right? It doesn't have to be that length. We like it to be that length, but it doesn't have to be that length, right? But I would argue and say, I think it could be longer because you could go and just talk about certain things inside of the post and elaborate on those, okay? Or maybe it's, you know what, Scott? I don't know what to send my email list. That's why I haven't sent an email in 3 months. I'm like, okay, have you written a blog post? Yes. What was the blog post on? 5 foods to get better or to have better gut health. Okay, why didn't you send that email to them? Because I don't know what to say to them. Okay, I'll make this super simple for you. It's going to say this. Hey, it's Scott. I wanted to check in with you. I know that you signed up to get our free gut health guide. Hey, I just wrote a blog post, the 5 foods to avoid for better gut health. Check it out here. Hey, if you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later, Scott. That's the email. Done, right? But a lot of people think it's got to be longer or it's got to sound different. No, it doesn't. It's like you sent that to a friend, right? So those are the 3 things I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself the question, what are you stuck on right now? Number 2, why are you stuck on that? And 3, what can you do to overcome that? All right. And if you do all of those, you will come up with a solution and you will do it, right? You need to tell yourself you're going to do it. And I'm telling you right now, identify what it is and do it. Okay. And I would love for you guys to come back here at the end of the week and let me know how you did. All right. So that's how you do it, guys. And I'm not saying that I don't fall into this trap, but those are the questions I ask myself. What am I stuck on right now? Why am I stuck on this? What can I do to overcome this? And that's it. That's the formula. All right. So guys, have an awesome day. Great. Iva says, great. I needed this talk this morning. Debbie said, thanks, Scott. Just what I needed to hear. Well, that's good to hear on my part because I didn't know if it was something that everyone cared about, but it sounds like it is. So guys, MVP, minimal viable product. And I don't care if that just means putting up a decent email or sending out a decent email or creating a blog post that you think is, doesn't matter. Get it done. Done is better than not done, right? All right. So guys, we'll be back here Wednesday. Let's see, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We will also be back here on Friday for our Friday jam session. If you guys have something you want me to go deeper on as far as a topic, let me know in the comments. What do you guys want to go deeper in as far as another coffee talk? I'd be more than happy to do it for you. Got some exciting stuff happening here in the near future. I'll be sharing with you guys. And again, if you guys have any questions, you can always drop them in the comments or come back to a coffee talk, a jam session. And I probably should say this as well. I probably should. If you guys have not grabbed a copy of this guy, the Brand Creators Playbook, and the reason why this is so important is because guess what? It simplifies the process and it also breaks down each part of the build. Remember how I was talking about building the house? Got to do the perk test. Got to do niche validation. We got to go ahead and start laying the foundation. Got to build our home base. We got to start filling the house with, the walls. Well, we got to start putting up some blog content, right? So all of that stuff, it's just like building a house. It's all laid out here in the playbook. If you guys want a copy, head on over to brandcreatorsbook.com and you can grab a copy over there. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day. And I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Get out there, make it happen. All right, guys.